Now, Sandra, I hope you are ready.
As ready as I ever be. I'm really nervous. I just really don't know what to expect from William.
Let's hope the judge can see that you can provide for your daughter on your own. Now I have to be frank with you, Sandra. Judge Bell is a tough one, and he goes by the book to a T. He will look at every record, including pay stubs, tax forms and criminal history. He's very anal about everything, so we got to make it look like you're the model parent.
I can provide just as much as William. I am a good parent to my child.
I know you are. It's just that we have to convince him of it. Oh, and another thing too. When you are addressing your daughter, address her as our daughter, not my daughter, because the judge will see that you are concerned for her well-being.
Really? Oh, okay. Well, thank you for the tip, Duncan. I'll definitely remember that.
You will be fine, Sandra. Just trust your heart.
Now, according to these statements, both parents are asking for full custody of the youngest child, Kimberly. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
That is correct, Judge Bell.
Very well, we will hear statements from both parents. Then I will review all the information I have here, before I make my decision. Mrs. Johnson, please take the witness stand. Do you promise to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your full name.
Sandra Melanie Johnson.
You may begin with your questioning, Counselor Jones.
Mrs. Johnson, how long have you and your husband been married?
38 years.
And how many children do you have together with your husband?
3. 3 girls.
And what are the ages of these 3 girls?
22, 19, and 8.
So as of now, you have 2 adult girls and 1 minor girl. Is that correct, Mrs. Johnson?
That is correct.
Mrs. Johnson, may I ask, what do you do for a living?
As of right now, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I stopped working after I had my first child. So basically, I've been taking care of the house and basically raising our children. Just basically being a good stay-at-home wife and mother.
And do you love being a stay-at-home mother and wife?
Oh, absolutely. I love being a stay-at-home wife and mother. I love watching and raising our daughters and watching them grow up to be beautiful, strong young women.
And what's your relationship with your husband been like?
We had a great relationship for a very long time. I mean, it was just the 2 of us. You know, we shared in the parenting, the discipline, sharing the rewards of being parents. And it was good. Up until recently. William and I, we had a love that knows no boundaries. He was my first. I mean, I've been in love with William since we were in the 8th grade. That's how long we known each other. He was my everything. He was basically my best friend.
So you and Mr. Johnson had a strong bond together?
Absolutely. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better soulmate. I just wanted the old William back.
Mrs. Johnson, I know this is a tough subject, but I need to address this. Can you recall when your marriage started to deteriorate?
I would definitely say over a year ago. See, there was a tragedy in the family. A car accident that was involving our oldest child and her husband and her unborn baby.
Mrs. Johnson, I know this is hard for you, but can you tell us the events of that accident?
Well, it was the week of Thanksgiving. Our oldest daughter, Tamika, she was pregnant. She was 9 months pregnant with her first child. And well, she went into labor. So her husband James and her rushed to the hospital. While they were on their way to the hospital, they were in the direction of another car. James, well, he couldn't control the car. He lost control of the brakes, so he had no control of the car. So they hit head-on with another car coming the opposite direction. James, he was thrown from the car, and he died instantly. And Mika, she was so seriously injured, badly injured, that they rushed her to the hospital. and they tried everything in their power to save the baby. But he didn't make it. Later found out that the two people, the other driver and the passenger, well, they were friends of our middle child, Jasmine. Well, the driver, Brian, he was our daughter, Jasmine's ex-boyfriend, and Brittany, her good friend. Brian, well, he also died after being thrown from the car. And Brittany, she had been in the hospital for a long time after her injuries. They were pretty bad. I just recently heard that she woke up from a coma. That chain of events had just really rocked our family. I mean, we lost family members, and it basically changed the foundation of this family forever.
Is that when your relationship with your husband began to change?
Well, not at first. I mean, it brought us closer together. But it seems months after, while Mika was recovering and Brittany was recovering, that's when I started noticing William acting more and more distant and strange.
Strange? How?
Well, he started hanging out late at night, saying he was going to play golf with the fellas almost every night. We never slept in the same bed. Half the time he was sleeping in the living room. He never acknowledged me. He just completely ignored me. Basically, he would start fights just to start fights. I mean, we have been fighting more and more than ever before. And I don't even remember the last time he said he loved me. Made me begin to wonder. I mean, he was very suspicious and just secretive. It made me wonder.
How did his behavior affect your children?
Well, they definitely hated the fighting. Especially our youngest child, Kimberly. It made her sad and upset to see us fighting. She really hated it. She just wanted everything to be okay and great, you know? She's only 8.
Mrs. Johnson, can you tell us when you discover your husband's affair?
I found that last month. Things started popping up unexpectedly. Someone had called saying that he had left his credit card at a hotel. The late night calls, the attitude he was giving me. But one day, I was taking our youngest child, Kimberly, to get some school clothes. Well, I happened to see a young woman, very beautiful, you know. Well, lo and behold, there was William, flirting with her, kissing her, talking sweet to her, and acting like they were married. And realizing that it wasn't me, it was her. That's when I realized my own husband was cheating on me with a younger, beautiful, better model. That's how I knew. It felt like my whole world was crashing down on me. I never thought my own husband would do that to me. He was supposed to protect me, love me. He was supposed to be like my knight in shining armor. But instead, he just turned out to be a monster.
How did your children react to his indiscretion?
Well, our 2 oldest daughters, Jasmine and Mika, well, they weren't happy. They were highly upset at their father. And with good reason. But with Kimberly, with her being only 8, it was hard for us to explain it to her. So as of recently, we all got together and explained it to her in a calm way. But we needed to let her know what was going on. She needed to know.
No thanks to you, Sandra, because you try to brainwash them.
Mr. Johnson, you will remain silent during the rest of this statement, or I will have you arrested in contempt. Do I make myself clear?
Yes, Your Honor.
Please continue, Mrs. Johnson.
Well, like I said, we all sat down to talk to Kimmy about what was happening and changes that was going to happen. She was upset, understandably upset, but it needed to be done.
Mrs. Johnson, do you think you will be able to raise your youngest on your own?
Absolutely. I may not be working now, but I can easily get a job. It's no problem. But I absolutely believe I can raise our child.
I have one last question for you. Why do you think Kimmy should stay with you?
I feel that Kimmy should stay with me because she needs her mother right now. And right now, I don't think living with her father and his new girlfriend is good for her. She's already confused. She doesn't know what's going on. You know, she needs a stability, and that's what I can provide for her. I want Kimmy to live a happy, normal life. As normal gonna get. It's gonna be rough for her, but I'm there for her. I love her to death, and she just needs her mother right now.
Thank you, Mrs. Johnson. This concludes Mrs. Johnson's statement, Your Honor.
Thank you, Counselor. Thank you, Mrs. Johnson. You may now return to your seat. We will continue tomorrow at 8 o'clock for Mr. Johnson's statement. Then I will review both sides and make my decision. Court is adjourned.
So how did I do, Duncan?
You were great, Sandra. You handled the questions superbly.
Are you sure? Because I feel William's eyeballs just like burning a hole through my skull. I was so nervous.
Don't let him intimidate you. You are a strong woman. Just keep your head up. I'll see you tomorrow, okay?
Okay, Duncan. See you tomorrow.
You may have fun with your little statement, and you think that you got it in good, but come tomorrow, I'm going to bury you in the ground. That judge will have no choice but to give me custody of Kimmy. Trust and believe. You wanted to play this way, Sandra? So be it. Get ready to be buried.